Welcome back to Let's Think About It with Dr. E for another inviting and invigorating episodes. But before you go any further, I need for you to go right now to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get the latest content and the latest drop of our new podcast, so Let's Think About It with Dr. E. You're only going to catch it on my YouTube channel, so go right now and subscribe. I believe it's going to be life-changing. I want to thank you in advance for all the subscribers, all the likes, all the shares. But if you have not, share with one of your friends. Let them know this is the podcast that they want to be a part of. So today we're going to talk about the future of ministry, innovations led by Black women. Today we're stepping into a powerful topic, this timely, innocent, energetic topic, the future of ministry and the innovations led by Black women isn't just a traditional conversation. It's about how women redefine what it means to lead, inspire, and bring faith into spaces that were never possible. Think about it. Black women in ministry have always been innovators. They have taken the church beyond the walls. They've weaved faith into community, work, activism, technology, mental health, tangible work beyond the building of the future of our faith, all within itself. And they're doing it unapologetically. They're pushing boundaries with creativity and with courage. You see, the Black woman, we are doing it, and we're doing it big. I mean, we're doing it big. I mean, we're doing it real big. I mean, we are looking from a lens that we've never saw before. We are on a ride, we're on this wave that I'm telling you, you need to jump on right now and catch this wave, because our voices are moving from my house to your house to the White House. And so whatever street you're on, you need to get on this road right now, because the voice of the Black woman is about to take over. And if you don't know right now, you need to know and understand we have a voice, and we are going to be heard if we got to push our way through. So I want to invite you to think about how ministry can look, what it looks like in the future of ministry for Black women. This ministry goes beyond the pulpit, the usual spaces, into streets, into boardrooms, and into the digital world. It's a ministry that's raw, relevant, and revolutionary. So let's dive in. When we think of ministry, or when you think of ministry, we often picture a pastor in a pulpit leading a congregation on a Sunday morning. But let's be honest, Black women have consistently expanded this vision. Ministry for them has never just happened on Sunday morning. Let's be honest. Ministry for us is 7 days a week. When we get up, it's about ministry. And let me help you understand that I'm not talking about ministry in the traditional sense. Ministry is about leading your life, leading your family, leading your community, leading in the spaces where it matters the most. It's about bringing together community, standing in the gaps, bringing people together. When the world is falling apart, it's about bringing healing to a space where we need to bring people together. You see, in our area, we have just been through a devastation of Hurricane Helene, where it just wiped out the whole western part of North Carolina. Devastation came. Lives were lost. They lost homes. They lost businesses, things they worked for so long. And we had an opportunity to take supplies and to visit in the area. And the one thing that I saw that was very resilient, that was there, was the voice of the woman. It wasn't just a Black woman, but there were voices of women organizing, leading the way, galvanizing for people to come in and get supplies, for people to try to put their lives back together. You see, we know what it is to face opposition. We know what it is to, in the face of adversity, in the face of tragedy. Yes, we're weeping and crying, but we know what it is to bring change. You see, we were the agents of change. We birthed change. We made change happen. Even when change wouldn't happen for itself, we made it happen. So if you're looking to change the voice of the black woman, don't try. Our voice is too powerful. It has too much clarity for you to stop our voices in this season. Black women have consistently expanded the vision. Ministry for us has never just happened. We created it. We created space for it to happen. So let's talk about Reverend Tracy Blackman. She's a pastor, a powerful voice in social justice, who steps out of the pulpit into protest, policy discussion, and community organizing. For her, ministry is a movement. Did you hear what I just said? Ministry is a movement, and it should be for all of us. Ministry never stands still. It always moves. It's not confined to the church walls. It's out in the world. It's engaging directly and indirectly with people through their struggles. You see, I never understood it until I got older, when my grandparents would go and visit the sick and the shut in. They would go visit the people in their community who needed things. I never understood. They called it the missionary circle. I didn't understand why the missionary circle. Like, what? That's a weird name. But I understood that they were doing the work of missions. And the work of missions to go visit the sick, go visit the poor, those that are in need, to care for those who could not care for themselves. As I got older, I understood as our church began to do ministry outside of the four walls. We fed the hungry. We clothed those that were in the streets. We have fed those that live under the bridge here in our area. So we participated in so much. And the one thing that I think for me that brought me some sense of peace is that even I saw women with their family and their children on the street, they were still organizing. They were still bringing them together. They were still commanding, hey, let's come over here, let's get something to eat. She was still making sure, that mother was still making sure they had their place and they were good before she ate. Even though they were on the street, they were homeless. It amazed me that how we can still move between spaces and places and still find our rhythm. Don't lose your rhythm behind somebody else. Nobody has to give you permission to speak. You have a voice, use it. Let's talk about what it means to be the woman in the midst of tragedy. I've not lost a child, but one of the first voices that we saw that we can relate to in my age is Trayvon Martin. The voice of the civil rights movement was Mamie Till when she lost her son Emmett Till. I don't know what it is to have tragedy of the loss of a child murdered at the hands of an angry mob. I don't know what that was. But Mamie Till said, no, let that coffin stay open, for I need the world to see what they did to my baby. I don't know what kind of strength she had, y'all. I don't know if I could have done what she did. And she stood there with grace, broken. But she said, no, this will not be a closed funeral. Y'all, the people were wrapped around the church. They waited for hours because she wanted them to see what they did. The media showed up. Jet magazine had his face on the cover of the magazine. But she said, I do not want them to forget who my son was. Y'all, that took a strength and a courage that I don't know that I could have done. I feel that God gave her supernatural, extraordinary faith and strength to do that. And she fought to the end for her son. To the very end, till she left here, she still wanted justice for her son. The lady who falsely accused Emmett Till, Miss Bryant, recently died in the state of North Carolina, where I currently live at. She did say that she falsely accused him a couple of years ago. And I said to myself, but we still can't have justice for Mamie? She admitted that he never whistled at her. Mamie died. Emmett never got justice. So now we look at Trayvon Martin, who went to the store to get some Skittles and something to drink. And at the hand of an angry man who was denied an opportunity to be a police officer, thought he was going to be born and fight for his community, carry a gun, even after the police told him to stand down, let them handle it. He killed an innocent young black man, young boy, over a bag of Skittles because he looked like somebody walking through a community that shouldn't have been there. Tell me, what does that look like? I don't understand it. But there again, his mother, with such strength and poise, is leading the movement for mothers for justice. You see, the voice of the black woman we have been leading, not just in ministry, but we've been leading in the future. There's been other mothers besides Trayvon Martin's mother, Eric Gardner, Eric Brown, George Floyd that we saw during the pandemic. There's so many that we have seen that we cannot bring back. But women, we gotta be a voice. We've gotta help those mothers. Those that are motherless, we can still stand with them and be a voice. So this episode is speaking to the heart and the mind of women. Don't let your ministry be hid behind a pulpit. But there's a walk in your community for a mother who's grieving the loss of a son or a daughter who they lost to gun violence. Help be that voice. If there's a community that's been ravaged with devastation, there's a community that's lacking in resources, join up with a community organization and help be the voice. You see, women, we cannot no longer sit back and not be a voice. We've got to speak out because one day we're going to need somebody to be our voice. So in this episode, I challenge you to be a voice. Not allow people to silence your voice. So I'm inviting you to think about how ministry can look different in the future. I'm inviting you to look beyond the pulpit. Look beyond usual spaces. Look into the streets and into the boardrooms, into the digital spaces. Look into spaces where you think that you can make a difference. But make a difference. Revolutionize the voice of the woman. You matter in this season. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Think About It with Dr. E. Be unapologetically bold, but in this season, let your voice matter. Thank you for tuning in.